Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the best damn professional wrestling podcast on the planet, the Main Event Mafia. I am one of your three co-hosts himself, Mr. Perfection, God's greatest creation, the gift to this generation, and I'm here with one of my favorite co-hosts. Sadly, Mr. Magic Fingers will not be joining us today, but you'll see him next week. We got Pete Jones in the building, Mr. John freaking Niffin. How you doing, man? How are you? How's this week been for you, bud?
Busy. We had Labor Day week at my job, so it's been kind of late nights every night.
Yeah, it's been crazy work week for all of us. I think, other than me, which I got my sister's wedding coming up next weekend, so we're all kind of preparing for that. And I only work on Tuesdays, which sucks. But yeah, Tuesday when I went into work, which I'm not going to disclose where I work, but I was busy all day Tuesday. And it was boring because it was busy in the morning, and normally I do half in a gift shop, half out front, right? So I work 4 out front and then 4 in a gift shop. I didn't get to do the gift shop this week because the person that was supposed to cover my shift at the desk called in sick. So it was busy first part in the morning, and then in the afternoon it was just so fucking slow that I just sat there for the other 4 hours and basically did nothing. But the taco truck showed up at work, so I got some
Oh,
tacos.
yeah, you can't beat that.
Yeah, man. How's your week with wrestling been? Have you been impressed? I think you're like all of us right now, where it feels like they didn't have the best weekly programming as far as SmackDown and Raw goes this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think what happened on I can't remember much on Raw.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't watch Raw because I was busy. It was 2 p.m. and I was busy.
Well, I got home. Let's see, Monday night. Monday night, I didn't get home until about 2 a.m. A little after 2 a.m. But usually, when I get home that late, I'll usually cut on Netflix while I'm cooking my dinner or whatever, and um, I'll kind of just scatter,
Yep.
skim through it.
Mhm.
I, but being how now we're on Sunday, I can't remember. I can't remember what even happened on Raw. Now SmackDown, on the other hand,
SmackDown had one thing, and that was the Logan and Cena promo that
yeah,
was worth a damn.
Cena burnt him
Yeah,
down, bro.
cooked him, cooked him like always. But we are here to talk about Clash of Paris that just ended a little bit over 45 minutes ago, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and what a show, man, from top to bottom. I don't think, um, I didn't think going into this pay per view that it would be that good, just because it was a limited card with talent on it, but it wasn't like a blowaway card. And this show was actually really well done. Um, so, what were your thoughts overall on the show before we break it down match by match?
Well, I didn't catch the Wyatt's and Street Profits match. I was cooking my wife her dinner.
It was a banger.
Yeah, I think that match was kind of just thrown on the card last minute because I didn't see
Yep.
anything about this match until today.
Well,
Um,
they did it last week on SmackDown, and then they promoted it a little bit more this week. So we had about a 2 week notice, but I felt like it was just thrown on there too as well.
but now the Nikki and Becky match that
Oh my God.
Nikki was just I like Nikki Bella, but she's not a wrestler. She is not a wrestler.
She's an entertainer, and there's a difference there.
Yeah.
When I say entertainer, I know this is the business of sports entertainment, but she's better on the microphone than she is in the ring. Um, she can talk her way, through anything. But when my wife, who just recently started watching wrestling, critiqued this match like she was Dave Meltzer, that's when you know something's going wrong. Um, there was a spot in the match, and I guess we'll talk about it first, and then we'll jump to the opening match, um, because I want to get this one out of the way because it was shit, um, basically. So there was a point in the match where they were both outside and they were doing this like announce table spot, and she was bouncing her from table to table, and it was so blatantly like, oh, let me put my hands here, let me put my hands here. It was so stupid and it looked terrible. The match was awful. That was probably the worst match on the card. If I had
Well,
to.
Well, if you watch the worst spot of the match, Nikki was on, I think, the middle rope, and she went to do a kickoff, kick to Becky's face. And number one, it totally missed. Like Becky was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 feet behind the kick.
Yep.
And then if you watch Becky after Nikki had landed on the mat, Becky kind of threw her face back like she got hit. I'm like, way to cover up the botch.
Yeah. She didn't do a very good job at all in this match. But that was the worst match on the card for me. But the opening match was the tribal thief himself, Mr. Bronson Reed, the former owner of the Shula Fala, taking on Roman Reigns. Um, and I think this was supposed to be, it was originally booked as a shoe for shoe match, but then I guess that got changed somewhere. Because I remember the first time that like Adam Pearce said it, he said it was going to be shoe for shoe. Um, so I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if they realized that's a dumbass idea. Maybe we shouldn't do that. But to me, the wrong person won here. The wrong person won.
My thing is, I mean, yeah, you're right to a point. I think I think it was Michael Cole that said Roman through 2025 so far has only wrestled 4 times.
Yep.
Um, I can't remember if he wrestled it. Didn't he wrestle at SummerSlam?
Uh, yeah, it was him and Jay versus Bronson and Braun.
Yeah. So with him wrestling so little throughout the year, this is probably like the attack after the match was probably their send off because he's going to do Street Fighter.
Yep.
So
He's
you
playing Akuma
probably
in the live action Street Fighter.
I wouldn't expect to see him at least until, I mean, honestly, you might
I say
I'm a,
Rumble.
I'm assuming I'm just assuming right now that he's going to have a team for War Games, I'm guessing. Um if not, Rumble's when you might not see Roman until.
Yeah. Because I think, and this is just mine, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but we'll get back to it. But I think they're gonna do Team Punk versus Team Rollins at SummerSlam or at War Games. So I don't expect to see Roman back until the Rumble. Um, so that's just my thought. I thought the only thing, that I thank WWE for doing is they didn't make Bronson and Braun look weak. They made them look
No.
strong at the end of the day. Yes, Bronson lost, but he still looked strong coming out of the spots, which is great because I think you need to build those guys up. And they've been losing consecutively here, or they've been looking weak here and there. And they really haven't won any big profile matches. So that's my only complaint about him not winning, but they also made him look strong. So, that was it was a good opener. I think it got the crowd red hot. I think we expected that to be the opener, to be honest with you, but I enjoyed it. I think if I had to give it a star rating, it would probably be 3.5 stars. I enjoyed the shit out of it, but that's just me. So, were you happy
Well,
with this opener, or did you not like it?
no, it was fine. The
Yep.
match was actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Hmm.
Although, if you paid attention when they first came to the ring, they stood in the ring for I think it was 12 minutes before the first move was even
Yep.
anything. But here's where it gets fun. So the episodes of Raw I've watched over the last few months, you see signs every couple of weeks. Braun. Now, I believe when they did when Kathy Kelly or whoever it was in the back interviewed Seth, after they found out that Braun and Bronson were thrown out of the building, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
He kept making those comments, I didn't need them. You know what I'm saying? That's the start to the breakup of Braun getting out of that group. You watch what I tell you.
Yeah. I think that was clearly seeds planted for that. But like you said, this match was fine. It wasn't a blow away match. Was it? Certainly wasn't match of the night. But it was a good opener. We got the crowd started. It was a good way to open the show. The second match, however, we just talked about a little bit briefly, was the Street Profits and the Wyatt Six. I will say my one big takeaway from this match, they killed it. It was a great tag match. The Wyatts, of course, retained. But the Street Profits entrance gear was so fucking cool. Like, I'm not a Borderlands like yearly player or series player. I don't even like the series that much. But the fact they were able to come out in Psycho Bandit masks and look like badasses, that was awesome. And
I was trying to think. I was trying to think when I seen those masks because, like I said, I didn't watch any of that match because I had to go cook the wife
yeah,
dinner.
hmm
But yeah, when they came out, I caught them when they came out, and I was sitting there trying to figure out in my head. I was like, "What are those masks from?" From what Montez's at first, I thought from a distance looked like Iron Man. I was like, "He's wearing an Iron Man mask," and I could not. Once he come up closer, I couldn't figure out where it was from.
yeah, it's from the Borderlands game series. They actually have the fourth one coming out here pretty soon. My wife's pretty excited for it. She grew up playing those games, so she's very excited for it. So she popped real hard for that one. So did I. I'm not even a big fan of the series, but I enjoyed that reference. But this was a fine match. We already talked about the third match on the card, I do believe, which was
Hold
Nikki.
on,
Oh, go ahead.
no, hold on. I want to find
Go
out if
ahead.
it's true because, like I said, I didn't see the match, but
Mhm.
apparently there was a spot in the match at the beginning where I guess Montez was going to start the match,
Mhm.
but the other guy, I can't think of his name.
Angelo Dawkins.
Yeah, Dawkins. Dawkins stopped him, put his hand out, stopped him from starting the match, and he stopped. And I guess, they, a lot of people are saying that the reaction that Montez put out is that this could be a sign that the Street Profits break up.
And if they do, Montez Ford is a future United States champion, possible world champion, and Angelo Dawkins will be on the release block.
Sure.
Which is awful because I love Docs. He's a fellow Cincinnati Bengals fan like myself. So, I fight for my own. There's not many of us out there, but he's one of them. So I like that guy a lot, and it's sad, but he is not as talented as Montez Ford. So if they were to
Sure.
break up, Tez would be the star that would get made into the next. People are gonna go crazy. He reminds me of a lot. He has a lot of the same mannerisms and charisma as The Rock. Um, in the way he just promos, the way he, just energetic in the ring. So I think he would be, that next step up. He would be what Carmelo Hayes should be right now, um, if that was to happen.
Well,
Uh,
see, I thought they was going to push. I thought they was going to push Montez Ford. I think like 3 or 4 years ago when they threw him in the Money in the Bank match.
well, they were supposed to, and then so he was in Elimination Chamber. He did a crazy spot in Elimination Chamber, and then Kofi Mania happened.
Well, they did that. I think he was in one of the Money in the Bank matches too, though.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't know, man. They were supposed to, and they should have, because he's fantastic on the microphone. In ring, he's great. Um, I don't know. They do that with a lot of people. They did it with LA Knight for Christ's sakes. I mean, yes,
Ugh.
he was in the main event for tonight, but fuck. I mean, will he ever be a world champion? Probably fucking not. I mean, honestly, probably not. Should the guy be world champion at the end of the day? Yes, he should have at least one run. He should have had a run 2 fucking years ago, but that's just me. Um, the whole main event scene right now is full of a bunch of guys that they should have pulled the trigger on a long time ago and they haven't. Um, but moving on from the tag match, we already talked about the Nikki and Becky match. We don't need to talk about that again. The match that really surprised me was Sheamus and Rusev.
Oh yeah, well you knew they was gonna put on a banger anyway.
Wow.
At first I was kind of like, oh no, should I just use this match to go take a piss or something like that?
Oh man. Oh man. They beat the piss out of each other in this match.
Uh huh.
They beat the ever loving hell out of each other, and I think we all knew that it was coming. I think the right guy won here. I do clearly think that this sets up a Sheamus and Rusev tag team. Um, and I would love to see that. But at the same time, like, why isn't Sheamus going after the IC title? in my opinion. I don't get that, but I understand it at the same time. You want to kind of capitalize on these guys beating the shit out of each other, and then because that's what happened with the bar. They beat the hell out of each other for 7 weeks, and then we're like, okay, you beat the shit out of me, I beat the shit out of you. Now let's go beat the shit out of other people together. Um, so they're kind of doing the bar cycle again, and that's fine with me. So put them together because they would definitely add something to that Raw tag team division. How did you feel about this match? Did you enjoy it? Did you not?
No, at first I didn't think I was, but then
Mhm.
it went into high gear. I mean, I really thought Sheamus was dead when he got put through that desk or fireplace or whatever the heck it was.
That
I thought he
shit
was
hurt.
dead.
You could
I was
tell
like,
that
yo, he
hurt.
dead. I was like, yo, he dead.
That hurt. That hurt like hell.
But yeah, I'm kind of with you on. I think they picked the right winner only because
Yep.
look, since they brought him back, the first time he came out, he attacked Tozawa and Otis, and he was doing that to Tozawa and Otis for weeks. And I'm sitting here like, okay, you when you were here the first time, you were very popular. You were going after the right talent. Now you're going after these jobbers, you know. So I figured if they would have had him lose this, that totally
Kills
just
his momentum.
kills yeah, absolutely, it kills everything.
Yep.
But the match was great. I think they definitely definitely went the right route with having him win. Of course, there is going to be another rematch. You know there is.
Yep. Which I'm cool with. Let them fight all year for all I care. Keep putting on matches like that, and I'm here for it.
Uh huh.
Yeah. All right. So the second to last match was honestly probably my favorite match of the night in terms of one-on-one matches. Logan Paul and John Cena. What a match. What an impressive match. Now, I think we all knew this match would be good because Logan Paul is not a celebrity wrestler. He's a wrestler. I think he's earned that right to be called not just a celebrity wrestler anymore. For Christ's sakes, he's a former United States champion. Uh, so I don't call him a celebrity wrestler anymore. He's a fucking wrestler. Now, does he wrestle as much as he should? No, but I'm not going to complain about it. Because he's not had a bad match in his WWE career. I can't think of one that was awful or terrible or less than good. Which says a lot because yes, he's been in there with main event guys, but he also put on a banger uh with the Miz. So that's saying a lot. Not that the Miz isn't a great worker, but if Logan Paul can get a good match out of him, daggone. He's doing
Well,
something right.
Logan first earned my respect when he saved Rey Mysterio's life because Rey could have easily either died or broke his neck on that one spot where Logan caught him.
Yep.
Um, I've said on other shows, go back and look at some of the spots between him and Ricochet, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Him and Ricochet stuff is killer.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really think that his and LA Knight's U.S. title match at SummerSlam last year was all that. Um,
Wasn't
but
terrible.
it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't all that great. But I think they're going the right route with having Cena win these matches. Because I mean, your man's he's got 8 appearances left,
8.
probably 4 matches out of the 8.
Yep.
You can't have him lose any of his last matches. You just can't. Um,
I think he loses one.
uh,
And
if you say to Brock, I'm done. I
they,
don't think he's going to lose to Brock.
it's Brock. I think he has to lose, and I think maybe that leads into Cena saying, "Guys, you know what? I'm sorry. I might have to cut this thing early because I'm just beat up. My body's not working." And then maybe R-Truth come out there, or Cody Rhodes comes out there, and is like, "Hey, I dealt with Brock. What are you talking about? You're John Cena." And then we get Super Cena and Brock, again. And notice I said Super Cena, who kicks out of every damn thing. And, kind of like if you guys watched AEW Forbidden Door, kind of like Will Ospreay was, there for a while last weekend. Fantastic pay per view, by the way, but that'll be I think we already covered that. Yeah, we already covered that. I did not watch AEW this week, but I'll get back on track next week. Um, but yeah, I thought the right person won this match. I thought that Cena was doing a great job. I thought Cena and Paul both pulled out moves that we haven't really seen them use. And I thought it was a very entertaining match. I thought it was very good. Um, I was halfway expecting Brock to come out at the end of that, when he was in the ring.
I was too.
Yeah, I was expecting Brock to come out, but maybe we get that Friday. I don't know. But moving on to the main event, which in my opinion was match of the night. It was fantastic. I thought it did everything it needed to do. It furthered the rivalry between CM Punk and Seth Rollins, which we need that to happen. And it set up, honestly, probably one of the biggest moments of probably next year. If not this year, if it happens this year, it's going to be one of the biggest moments of the year. If it happens next year, it's going to be one of the biggest moments of next year. So I'll start with you. Give me your thoughts on this main event and what it's for you.
I mean, at first, I'm not. Look, I know y'all call me the Seth Rollins hater. I'm not hating on the guy. I don't hate him, but again, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Having him win that Money in the Bank for a seasoned a superstar he is, it just defeated everything. After him cashing in the way he did, that's where I finally got the picture. That's what's going to lead to him and Punk at WrestleMania, where Punk actually takes it from him.
Yep.
What I really wasn't expecting the ending to end with Becky helping him. I was more expecting along the lines of maybe Theory being the next person to join, or even hell, Omos. I think Omos would fit in there perfect as being like a bodyguard to these guys.
Yep.
But Becky, really? Come on.
I thought it was awesome.
No, it was. Now the question is, was she just there to help him keep his title, or is she a new member of the Vision?
I think she's quietly always been a member of the Vision. Because she's always talking about Seth Rollins in her promos, kind of sneaking in Seth Rollins references. So I think we do see her hang around the Vision a lot more on TV, and I do think she's kind of a new member, if you want to call her that. But to me, this set up the return for AJ Lee.
Oh, absolutely.
Clear as day, this set up AJ Lee's return. And as a very, 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 very excited AJ Lee fan, I mean, she's my favorite female professional wrestler of all time. I cannot wait till that moment happens because that pop is going to be ridiculous.
Well, a lot of people are, you got some people right now, and I know it's fresh and all, the Becky thing just happened, but there's a lot of people speculating that AJ probably returned that stupid WrestlePalooza show they got coming up because it being on ESPN now. That may be when AJ does her return. I seem to believe that she may pop up. She may pop up tomorrow. She may pop up tomorrow night.
I don't think they saved that for a Netflix Raw. I think people might be headed in the right direction. I think WrestlePalooza would be the perfect time to do it because it solidifies the merger with WWE and ESPN. And I think it would bring a lot of eyes to the product. If we could just get Punk to hint and drop teases and then it finally happened, that would bring in so many views to that.
Oh, sure.
And so I think that's the perfect time as a business decision to see it. I just don't see it happening as soon as tomorrow. Speaking of the WWE ESPN merger, how do you feel about it, man? Does it frustrate you? Does it aggravate you?
I don't know. There are some things. There are some things like I don't know why my video was off. There are some things like okay, so ESPN is owned by Disney.
Yep.
Disney is the parent company to ESPN. Now, questions raised when that comes into play is, do they now turn their PLEs? I hate calling them PLEs, their pay-per-views, but anywho, um, do they now make them more family friendly? You know what I mean?
I don't think so.
I hope not. Um,
I mean, we're also talking about a company who works with UFC. So, I don't think we have to worry about um family friendly just because Disney's a parent company. Um, I do think we see WWE streamed on Disney Plus a lot more. Um, but I don't think they tone down their violence. For me, I don't have to worry about this merger. And I don't have Andrew on here this week to give me clarification to talk about why I don't have to worry about this merger, but I'll tell you afterwards. Um, and it's something you might want to look into. Uh, but when it first happened, I was losing my shit, right? And so, um, I have Peacock. My dad pays for a Peacock because he loves Peacock for some reason. He watches a show called Grimm on there all the time. It's one of his favorite TV shows of all time. So,
I love
um,
Twisted Metal.
I haven't watched Twisted Metal. I've heard good things about it, but I need
Yeah,
I,
you got to.
I need to sit down and actually give it a watch. Um, so yeah, I definitely need to give that show a watch because you and Andrew both, you were the second person to say, yeah, that show's fantastic. Watch it. And I
Yep.
haven't sat down and gave it a watch. So I actually need to sit down and give it a watch. Um, Maybe I'll do that tonight while I'm dozing off. But yeah, I think this merger is great as a business decision. I mean, ESPN is arguably the biggest sports network on the planet. Um, and I think this gives WWE a credibility. And I'm one of the people that have always said WWE should be treated like a real sport. Um, so
Well,
it,
it is. I mean, they're
yeah,
more
absolutely.
those wrestlers, to me, in my opinion, they're more athletic than football players.
Yeah. And they take now, don't get mad at me because I love my football too, people. They take a bigger risk on their body than football players do.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
100%. Taking a bump, ladies and gentlemen, is the equivalent of getting in a car wreck at 25 miles per hour. That's exactly what it's like. Um, so I think this is good for business in terms of a business decision. I think it affects a lot of people that necessarily, in our situations, who might not have that extra $30 a month to drop on the ESPN all in one place subscription service. I think it affects the fans that only got to watch the PLEs because they could afford, because we all know in this economy, things aren't cheap. So I think it affects a big portion of their audience that only got to watch the PLEs because they had that $9.99 a month Peacock subscription, or sometimes $4.99 with ads, whatever you want to use. So I think it affects them, but I also think it's a great business decision. And that's been a big talk online along with the Rajah Jackson incident. Um,
Yeah.
that now, as a person who has done more research into this, and somebody texted me about it because they watched the last episode and was like, man, what are your real thoughts on this? And I give my real thoughts on anything, and if you don't like my opinion, it's my opinion. That's why it's an opinion. um the more and more I look into this kid is fucked. He's fucked. If it goes into a court of law, which I don't think it will, but if it does, then Rajah Jackson is fucked, because they can clearly go back on his kick stream and clearly state when he clearly says, fuck this fake shit. I'm going to hit him for real. I'm going to hit him as many times as I can. Right there is premeditation.
Well, that's why I said when I
Innocence.
said to you guys in the group chat, look, hey, look, we all seen Psycho Stu smash a prop beer can on Raja's head because he thought Raja was part of the show. Okay, so Psychos 2 tried to apologize first. Raja wanted no parts in the apology. Well, then he changed. They shook hands. He apologized. Raja was like, "Look, it's all good, man. I get it." That's where it should have stopped.
Yeah. I think this has a big part on the promotion as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The what's his name? AJ Mana was the one wearing the cowboy hat.
Yeah, AJ Mana, that's his name.
He was the one telling him, "Hey, look." Him and the other guy that was wearing like the Samoan like wraparound dress type thing.
Yep.
So both of them told him, "Hey, you go in there, you get your receipt." Anybody who really follows the sport, a receipt is where you get too stiff with somebody, they get you back with they tag you back with a stiff shot to let you know, hey, you're fucking up. You fucked up. You did this.
Slow down.
Not go in there, slam a guy down, seeing the slam knocked him unconscious off the bat, and then you proceed to get on top of an unconscious man and hit him 22 times in the face.
Now, I will say this. Have you slowed the clip down?
No.
Some of those shots didn't connect to his face
No. There were a lot that didn't connect, but
at all. And I'll tell you what I thought. As a Rampage Jackson fan, I think he's the greatest UFC fighter of all time and doesn't get the recognition he deserves because he was black. Let me be honest. He was Conor McGregor before Conor McGregor was Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
He would tell you, I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to beat your ass. He would go in there, beat your ass, and then grab a microphone and then tell you, yeah, I told you I was going to beat your ass. He's the most underrated, greatest UFC fighter of all time. He's a bad motherfucker.
I grew up in a different time frame, so
I can go back. I go back to Royce Gracie, George Rush St. Pierre, but just I don't know, man. There's something about Rampage that just connected with me. I don't know if it was the wolf howl or if it was just the way he carried himself. I just always grew up loving that guy.
I've been a fan favorite of Ken Shamrock my entire life.
Ken Shamrock is an arrogant prick.
Well, yeah, but still, they call that man the world's most dangerous man, and he still is till this day. I don't care how old he gets. But
that's my big problem with Ken Shamrock. I cannot stand people that have egos, right, and aren't decent human beings outside. So with people like Conor McGregor, I'm a big Conor fan, but outside of the octagon, I think he's one of the biggest pieces of shits to ever walk on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I can say is the bus incident, if you guys remember that.
Which was it?
The bus incident where he went to fucking flew and then threw a fucking one of those things through that guy's bus window and like glass went everywhere and like got in one of the dude's eyes, almost permanently blind him. And Dana, of course, Conor being his golden boy, was trying to defend him and shit. But anyway, I just can't stand people that's why I can't stand Bill Goldberg, is because he's an arrogant, cocky prick who thinks he's better than what he is. And credit to Ken Shamrock, he put the sport of MMA on the map. And he, transitioned. He was the first MMA guy to really transition into pro wrestling and be a success at it. So that I'll give him credit for. But just the way he talks about himself, like even now, age is a thing regardless. Do I think that Ken Shamrock, at however old he is now, could go into a current UFC octagon and pound for pound beat anybody? No, because he's old, and if he was younger, hell yeah, he was a badass. But he talks about himself like he's still 24 or 35, and I can't stand people like that. So that to me is why I just don't like Ken Shamrock or Bill Goldberg. But I will say this: after slowing that clip down, ladies and gentlemen, it felt like a work to me, like a genuine work. Because if you slow it down and you look at it real close, there was maybe one or two shots that connected. Every other shot, Raja made sure that he was tucking his fist and hitting him here in the chest. Now, if he didn't know anything going on or he didn't know anything about the business, how's he going to know how to throw a punch like that?
Well, that's just that's the whole thing. That's where,
It's confusing.
that's where Rampage made the comments. He's like, "Look, my son is a MMA fighter, not a wrestler. He should not have even been allowed to get in the ring. He's never been trained to be a wrestler. He is a
Well, and
fighter."
and the crazy thing about it, ladies and gentlemen, he suffered a concussion during sparring 2 days before the incident happened. He shouldn't have been doing anything physical. Now, I don't condone what the kid did. What he did was fucked up and beyond a mistake. But do I think the dude deserves life in prison like everybody on the internet saying? No. He's at the end of the day, he's a kid that made a stupid, ignorant decision. We've all been young and stupid, right? I made a lot of stupid decisions in my young life. I'm sure John, with that little smirk and little cocky looky, made a lot of stupid young decisions. So at the end of the day, does he need to be reprimanded for this? Yes. But he was a kid who made a mistake, who clearly I don't think was medically in the right state of mind to even be put in the situation to say, hey, go in there and give him a receipt. Because Raja, at the end of the day, being concussed, might have thought, oh, receipt? Well, a receipt in my world is completely different than what a receipt in your world means. You see what I'm saying?
Well, well, the two things that's going to get him is like you said, where he was streaming the shit and he was
Yep.
like, "Hey, I've always wanted to beat down a pro wrestler." You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The other thing is this is the question. This is the question that needs answered, and I think a lot of people can answer it. But had the wrestlers not pulled him off, would he have stopped? The answer is simple:
No.
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 So unfortunately, it's probably going to come down to attempted murder, possibly. I mean, if he wouldn't have stopped, Stu was dead. Stu was going to die.
Yep. Yep. So that's the messed up thing about this. And it's a messed up situation in general, but I think not enough blame is being pushed towards this promotion that is ran by Rikishi. Um, it was just a whole situation that went way too far and got way too out of hand. It was irresponsible on both parties. Raja shouldn't have done what he did, and the fucking AJ Mana or whatever the dude's name is
AJ Mana.
shouldn't have been like, hey, go in there and give him a receipt. Because, like I said, Raja's not a trained performer, right? And yeah, he said, you know what a receipt is, right? Well, a receipt in the MMA world is completely different than a receipt in the pro wrestling world. See what I'm saying? So, you it's a tricky situation. Does the kid deserve life in prison? I really don't think so. Like I said, he's a young kid who made an irresponsible decision, who 10 years from now we'll look back on that and be like, yeah, that was fucking stupid and I regret it and all this. And, but there should be repercussions. He shouldn't just be let go scot free. But I don't think the kid deserves life in prison. But that was a
My
big talking point from last week. And you
my thing,
go
my
ahead.
thing, my thing is just. I mean, look, the dude. What he should have done is if he really wasn't going to accept that apology, or we seen him when we seen him shake hands and say, "Look, it's all good."
Yep.
Um, if he really had, if he was really that mad about a prop can, um, he should have went to Stu and told Stu, "Hey, handled it between them two."
Yep.
That's what should have happened. Even if it would have happened, if it would have happened out back, a different story. Because there's people back there that could have stopped it.
Yep.
Nobody, the ref, the ref stood there like an idiot.
Yeah, I don't know what that fucking referee was doing.
And then you got the one guy, and this is the funny part. I don't know if you've seen this video, but one of the guys they were wrestling, after they got Raja out of the ring, this stupid son of a bitch gets in the ring, covers Stu, and the ref counts the pinfall. Let me just say this: if there was a Slammy award for the most stupidest things ever done, the ref and that wrestler who pinned Stu deserve that award right off the bat.
I mean, hey, they always say protect the business at all costs. So, so this is the same guy, right? That had the face paint on. Am I correct?
I think so.
Yeah. So this is the same guy that as Raja's walking away to like, and he's trying to walk away and calm himself down. This dude's chasing Raja down the street, like trying to egg him on. You saw what he just did to Stu. And you're like 10 times smaller than Stu. Why go provoke? That's like going and poking a tiger after you just fed it a human leg and saying, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, you're an idiot. Um, but yeah, I don't know what the referee was doing in that situation. Because I was always taught, now I might be revealing too much, but I was always taught in wrestling school and I only went for about a year and a half. But I got to know a lot because I was trained by one of the best in this area. Always protect the people you're in the ring with, regardless of what happens. If somebody jumps over that rail and your opponent don't see it, that's your responsibility to lock that motherfucker down and say, nope, not today. And that referee just fucking stood there. Like, he didn't do anything. He didn't even say, hey, stop. He just went and was just standing in the corner. Like, and that's what makes me think part of it. I think it was a work originally, right? But I think it got taken too far.
Well, it was it was supposed to be a work. It was supposed to, like the way they told him.
Yep.
Because they showed videos of him walking in the back with AJ Manning, the guy with the cowboy hat.
Yep.
And he said, look, go in the ring, get your receipt, and that's it. But like I said, after when they showed him sitting outside the ring on the doing the stream and on the phone with somebody, he said, I'm gonna fuck this motherfucker up. I've always wanted to beat down a professional wrestler. To me, that you've already got in your head, I'm getting ready to do something I shouldn't do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I will say it was a beautiful double leg takedown.
Yeah, I mean,
it was pretty masterful.
All I can say is it knocked out Stu real quick.
Yeah, he was gone. He wasn't there anymore. But it has been a crazy week, man. There's been a lot of controversy resulting in that incident. And I think it overall put a bad light on pro wrestling, that whole incident. So it's been in the media all week. I talked about it with Andrew last week, but it's crazy. But overall, I enjoyed Clash at the Castle. I'm pretty sure Pete Jones, aka John freaking Niffen, did as well. I'm gonna take this episode and bring it to a close because we've been talking for a little bit. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys. We just hit 50 streams and 50 listens. Now, to most people, that's not a big number, but when 50 people download your podcast, that means you affected 50 people enough for them to tune in and listen to what you're saying. So to me, that's a big ass deal. So I want to thank each and every one of you who have downloaded our podcast, who have supported our podcast, who continue to support us. Because at the end of the day, this is just a side project for us. We love doing this, but hopefully it will grow into an empire one day, to the point where I want to make this a business, to where we at some point will be able to do these shows and then just send it to somebody and have them edit it instead of me having to worry about putting it up on Spotify and doing all that. But thank you, Mr. Pete Jones, aka John freaking Niffen himself, for joining me once again this week. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week.